nothing more cozy. And I've got me fluffy pyjamas on, which will make some nice ambient sounds. And I've also got the what's it called? The thing, the sponge cover of the microphone. And today this was a suggestion, and I can't remember who it's by, I apologise. But it was reading, smashing the place up, reading classic kids book. So they suggested Peter Rabbit, and I'm gonna read Peter Rabbit, and it's a free ebook, so I don't know if it's the full version. It's off Google. But yeah, so The Tale of Peter Rabbit by Peter Potter. I can't speak. Peter Potter. Let's see how good I am at fluent reading as well, by the way. I got all the snuggly PJ sounds. I'm very, very comfy, and I'm tired too. But I wanted to make a video for you, so I'm doing it. Right, let's all get relaxed now, get all tucked up and ready, and let me read you The Tale of Peter Rabbit. Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits, and the names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. They lived with their mother in a sandbank underneath the root of a very big fir tree. And in the photo, it shows a big fir tree where the rabbits live in the base for where the roots is. Now, my dears, said old Miss Rabbit, one morning. I'm terrible at reading, I'm really sorry, people. Right. It's got punctuation, but I don't follow it. I'm overthinking this more than it needs to be. Now, my dear, said old Miss Rabbit one morning, you may go into the fields or down the lane, but don't go into Mr. McGregor's garden. Your father had an accident there. He was put in a pie by Miss Gregor. Jesus Christ. I don't think I've ever read this, actually. Sorry. That's wild. Right. Composure. Put in her a pie. Right. I'm creased. I'm really sorry. I don't know if I'm going to leave that in. I should leave that in. I think people need a laugh these days. Now run along and don't get into mischief. I'm going out. Then old Miss Rabbit took a basket and her umbrella and went through the woods to the baker's. She bought a loaf of brown bread and 5 currant buns. Flopsy, Mopsy and Cottontail, who were good little bunnies, went down the lane to gather blackberries. But Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight away to Mr. McGregor's garden and squeezed under the gate. Oh, Peter, what you doing? First he hid some lettuces and some French beans, and then he hid some radishes. You see Peter there stuffing his face. And then, feeling rather sick, he went to look for some parsley. But round the end of a cucumber frame, who he should meet but Mr. McGregor. Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees planting young cabbages, but he jumped up and ran after Peter, waving a rake and calling out, "Stop thief!" Peter was most dreadfully frightened. He rushed all over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his shoes among the cabbages, and the other shoe amongst the potatoes. After losing them, he ran on 4 legs and went faster, so that he might have get away altogether if he had unfortunately run into a gooseberry net which caught by the large buttons on his jacket. It was a blue jacket with brass buttons, quite new. I specify there, Peter was rocking the new jacket. Peter gave himself up for lost and and shed big tears, but his sobs were overheard by some friendly sparrows who flew next to him in great excitement and implored him to exert himself. Mr. McGregor came up with a sieve, which he intended to pop upon the top of Peter, but Peter wriggled out just in time, leaving his jacket behind him, and rushed into the tool shed and jumped under a can. Not into a can. It would have been a beautiful thing to hide in if it not had so much water in. Mr. McGregor was quite sure that Peter was somewhere in the tool shed, perhaps hidden underneath a flower pot. He began to turn them over carefully, looking under each. Presently, Peter sneezed. Cashoo! Mr. McGregor was after him in no time, and tried to put his foot upon Peter, who jumped out of a window, upsetting 3 plants. The window was too small for McGregor, and he was tired of running after Peter. He went back to his work. Peter's getting away with it here. Should we go into soft-spoken for the last bit? Peter sat down to rest. He was out of breath and trembling with fright, and he had at least no idea which way to go. He was also very damp with sitting in that can. After time, he began to wander about, going lippity-not very fast and looking all around. He found a door in a wall, but it was locked. There was no room for a fat little rabbit to squeeze underneath. An old mouse was running in and out over the stone doorstep, carrying peas and beans to her family in the wood. Peter asked her way to the gate, but she had such a large pea in her mouth she could not answer. She only shook her head at him. Peter began to cry. Sorry. Christ, really, it's getting us this. It is. I'm in a giddy mood, people, I'm sorry. Then he tried to find his way straight across the garden, but he became more and more puzzled. Presently, he came to a pond where Mr. McGregor filled his water cans. A white cat was staring at some goldfish. She sat very, very still, but now and then the tip of her tail twitched as if it was alive. Peter thought it best go away without speaking to her. He had heard about cats from his cousin, little Benjamin Bunny. He went back towards the tool shed, but suddenly quite close to him he heard the noise of a hoe, scritch, scritch, scratch, scratch, scritch. Peter stood underneath the bushes, but presently, as nothing happened, he came out and climbed over upon a wheelbarrow and peeped over. The first thing he saw was Mr. McGregor hoeing onions. His back was turned towards Peter, and beyond was the gate. Peter got down very quietly off the wheelbarrow and started running as fast as he could along a straight walk behind some black currant bushes. I would do some ambient sounds, people, but I'm focusing on the reading, because me reading is terrible. I usually just skim over things like really quickly and read it in my head. I'm not one for reading out loud unless it's like a short thing. Mr. McGregor caught sight of him in the corner, but Peter did not care. He slipped underneath the gate and was safe at last in the wood outside the garden. Mr. McGregor hung up the little jacket and the shoes for the scarecrow to frighten the blackbirds. Peter never stopped running or looked behind him till he got home to the big fir tree. He was so tired that he flopped down upon the nice soft sand on the floor of the rabbit hole. Shut his eyes. His mother was busy cooking. She wondered what he'd done with his clothes. It was the second little jacket and pair of shoes that Peter lost in a fortnight. Sort yourself out, Peter. Get it sorted, or having this. I'm sorry to say that Peter was not very well during the evening. His mother put him to bed and made some chamomile tea, and she gave a dose of it to Peter. 1 tablespoonful to be taken at bedtime. But Flopsy Mopsy Cottontail had bread and milk and blackberries for supper. Oh, and that's the end of the book, I think. Anyways, that's all that's there for me to read, anyways. But yeah, I am really sorry. I apologise. I am going to release the video, so I've at least released something, but I'm too tired to record it again. But if he's lucky, I might do another video tomorrow, and this might just be like a little warm up. And I know you practice me reading a bit, but I am really sorry for laughing at that, but that really had me creep. Right, I'm continuing, sorry. The thing ran out of bars then. It's always just near the end. I always put them a couple short. But yeah, I am really sorry for laughing. I'm in a giddy mood and I'm recording that there. As I say, I'm too tired to do it again, but I'm sorry for being a bit of a train wreck of a video, and I'm sorry that my reading's not the best. And I'm sorry that, yeah, I was crazed. It had us there, but you get the idea of how silly I am now. But anyways, leave it at that. Rambled on enough now. It's my bedtime. Cody's tired. He's had a hard week. It hasn't really been that hard. It's been okay, really. It's just been busy and tiring. So yeah, good night, everybody. You might see me tomorrow. I might do another video. But thanks a lot. See you guys later.